as our first ever members only episode. Thank you all so much for continuing to support me and not deciding to leave in protest. In any case, as we begin our journey here, we want to turn straight around, and I feel like this is almost a trope or cheesy. At the beginning of the game, turn around, go to the waterfall, and get ourselves a little bit of currency. It's all good. A lot of the area ahead of us is pretty straightforward, so I haven't scripted any of this, but we should easily find everything as we're going forward. Sorry, I just assist for no reason, didn't I? Telling us about the Chroma Elixir, sorry. Can't talk right now. So nervous. Wants us to use it. This works as a refresh, so when we reach a checkpoint, that'll reset. You can bring it up right here. We're going to get more of those as we go forward. Same with all of the other little potions. We have renewable consumers. I actually really like this system because it fixes the hoarder mentality. So I don't know if you're like me, but in like a Final Fantasy game, usually I won't use many consumables. Whereas in this game, it feels much better because they reset and you have like a set amount. So I actually like how they've implemented this as part of the in-game mechanics. Get ready for the best soundtrack. Those games' soundtrack is immense. I love it so much. Alright, even the basic enemies, you have to pay attention to get the parry off. Is it going to tell us about the free aim? Yes. So free aim, and you see the orb in its head. You can shoot that to break it. There are items later in the game that require more than one shot. So sometimes if you see something glowing for the first time, like if you go ahead of the videos, obviously, feel free to give things a few extra shots and get some experimentation on. Oh man, I still can't time it very well. You have to wait until just as his shoulders are shunting towards you to get the parry off. I always attempt to go for the parry, and my advice to you guys is to keep it on easy until you start parrying. In fact, once we get a little bit further on, I've got a much better training order for you guys. I came up with this whilst we were streaming, which is why we're doing it this way. But ultimately, the best advice, in my opinion, is to start out on easy, learn to parry and dodge, and then up the difficulty to your taste. And you can actually do this for each area if you wish to. So, for example, because obviously all of the enemies are going to change, and the timings change and everything else, if something's really pummeling you with lots of attacks, the best way to learn it is to, you know, experience those attacks more often. And you're going to experience those attacks more often if you choose to defend or, like, use action points on shots, and then you go ahead and parry and dodge those attacks, because the timings don't change as far as I'm aware. Anyways, yeah, so we continue forward. There's a couple of nooks and crannies as we come up this way that we want to make sure that we explore. This game is full of labyrinthine levels, so you'll have to bear with me as I get my bearings here. Our climb spot. Oh, so it's not here yet. Yeah, we go up a little bit more. Here we are. Everything's all looking rather grim. Very grim, in fact. So I'm going to continue moving forward into the cave. Yeah, I think there is an enemy to fight on the way in. Although I don't think we have to. I think it's off to the side. It's optional. No, was I wrong? I think I'm wrong. Okay. Right, in for the cutscene.
You do that, we both die. Hey. Fucking hell. Wake up, Gustav.
No name. The others.
I know. We're the only ones left. You don't get to die.
It's just a matter of time before we're already dead. Look around, look.
This is not a foregone conclusion. When one falls, we continue. Get up. We need to find a safer place. There are Nevrons around.
Lucian. I could...
This is not the place.
One teacher is correct. We're not done.
The Lumina converter seems intact. It's about time we test it in real conditions.
Putain.
I don't know why I love this music so much, I just do. I can't help it. I'll test the sound after the video because it looks like it's a little bit loud. But let's go. Alright, I think now we're going to get a party-wide dodge that we have to do. We'll start out, as usual. I'm going to pop that. So, a quick overview. I'm going to do a combat guide once we get further in and we have more of the characters available and more skills unlocked. But for now, the basics are, as she uses skills, she generates the colors that you can see there. You have the 4 solid colors and then light, which can be consumed as any color. And you see here the skills. It tells you what it generates up at the top. So for example, on the ice lance, you can see that it's generating 1 cold, 1 light essence, basically. That's going to go into the palette on the right hand side. Telling you there that cold slows enemies down, so we've got debuffs going off. Just in case you couldn't tell, we've got the turn order going off in the top left. Showing us here, we can do a party parry, which is always mega cool. And now we can see we have the colors available up in the top right. So now it's telling us when we consume the ice color, we get increased damage on immolation. This is one example of how there is a lot of interplay between skills. That is just with Lune. There are other things, such as Gustav has a mark on his gun, and she can consume the mark to do extra damage. There's going to be a lot of this as we go through the game. Many options are available, and I highly recommend that you toy around with them.
Dead yet.
Yeah.
Come on. There might be other survivors at the indigo tree.
Alright, it's going to take us through Pictos. I'm going to explain this as well. So, the way Pictos work is kind of similar to Final Fantasy IX. If you haven't played Final Fantasy IX, we're going to go through it anyway. We select a character and we equip a Picto. Okay? Now, the Picto itself has stats on it. Excuse me. I want to talk. I want to talk, my friends. Right. Picto has stats on it. So for example, Dodger, we can see it gives us speed and 3% crit rate. Now the ability is we gain 1 additional AP, so that's what we use to make the actions when we're playing, on a perfect dodge, once per turn. Well, the cool thing is when we equip this, the person with it physically equipped gets that bonus, and it's equipped without costing you any Lumina. All right, now Lumina is a capacity. And so if I come over this way, where it says Edit Lumina, although we don't actually have anything to customize right now, we're actually able to select some that are on or off. And that takes up your capacity. So this level 1 takes 1 Lumina. And the cool thing is, once we've done 4 battles, you'll see that this fills up as like a gold diamond. We'll get a battle on so you guys can see it in a second. The whole party actually learns the physical ability. So for 1 Lumina, you will not have to have it equipped on a character, and you can simply activate that gain 1 AP on perfect dodge, which is really, really powerful. This is why I was saying before, we got that extra Lumina in the tutorial. It's only 1 point, so it's not like it's going to be groundbreaking, but collecting that along the way is very powerful for us, especially early on when the game doesn't really expect us to have done all that much in the way of like powering up and leveling up and this kind of thing. Additionally, I haven't worked out the exact circumstances for it yet, but weapons are able to level up as well, so that's also kind of interesting. Let's keep on making our way forward here. And I don't think we've even gained, we still don't have the chroma up yet. This is why having it on easy right now, because we haven't had a checkpoint, is a relatively decent idea, because we could have taken a lot of damage already, and we still have a little ways to go before we reach our first checkpoint. Which we have right here. Go ahead and rest. This is like any other checkpoint. This resets all of the enemies and all of our consumables. Again, this is one of my favorite parts of the game. I think this is absolutely wicked. We haven't leveled up yet, I don't think. So, we do get some starter points. All right. Whilst I haven't played to the end of the game yet, it does seem like on normal, vitality is not essential so long as you are raising your defense. The reason I want to point this out is that these two here are very focused in what they're going to do. So we're raising our physical damage here, and we are raising our health. To start with, the enemies are not doing so much damage that they're putting us down too fast. And luck is actually very powerful. There are a lot of abilities that work based on crit, and at the same time, that is also increasing your speed. It is possible to get double turns, so if you are fast enough, you are able to completely outpace your opponents, and therefore, at the moment, I'm pretty much leaning towards something that looks like this on a lot of the characters. Now, you may want to make a tanky character, but as far as I've seen so far, there's not much way to attract damage. Or you might go with something like this, where it goes across the board. The fun thing about doing this look is you actually get a very nice spread of crit, speed, and defense, and that means you are gaining in damage and tankiness very easily. As for very specific builds, I'm not normally a build guide type of person, but once I've had more in-depth experience with all the combat systems work, I will probably have something like that ready for you guys once we get to the end of the first act. We've got quite a lot to do and get through before we have all of the different tools, and I don't feel like we need to be min-maxing until we've reached that point. Sorry, I'm just double checking we're going the right way. So yeah, from the flag, we're going to go this way. This is where we're going to start seeing some of the minor platforming and how things can be hidden. Have our first enemy here. You should 100% be practicing on this guy. And what I recommend is, so you have your game on easy first. All right. Again, we can see we've got the attacks up in the top left. And ideally, to start with, we want to start with the dodge, okay? Because it's more forgiving. And the timing is actually mostly the same. Once you start seeing perfect dodge come up, that's when you know you're ready to start parrying the enemy, and maybe you want to turn the difficulty up a little bit. So for now, we're going to go ahead. We're going to get Lumiere Assault on here. We're going to treat these as full-fledged enemies.
Let the ink flow.
It's up to us here. We could get ice on there. I actually really like Immolate a lot because the fire damage is amazing. So that was a normal dodge. I'm not ready to parry that yet, you see? Because I'm getting the dodge off, but perfect dodge is your parry timing. That means I'm not ready. Don't have the AP. So things to bear in mind. Oh, I just want to show. The game doesn't really show you these, but we have these items here. We've got a heal. We have a 3 AP, probably best during a boss battle, but you can use it right now if you want to, and you have your revive. Right now, just get the attack on.
Take cover.
Nope, mistimed it, mistimed it, mistimed it. They hold them up for so long, but this is why you want to learn. This is why you want to learn it before you start, you know, turning the difficulty up on yourself. It's going to be down. Cool thing is, because we're managing AP, we don't have to worry about mana. We don't need to worry about mana potions or anything like this. And so I think that makes this game simply a joy to play. Get our first new weapon. Let's go ahead and take a look at that on Gustav. Now, the main difference at the beginning is going to be the scaling. We see that scales off of vitality and agility. And that one just scales off of vitality. So you're almost picking a play style when you are looking at these weapons. I'm just going to pick the one that does the most damage. So we're going to go like this. Keep that on. Now we're starting to see loot around, and we want to make sure we look inside the cave on the right hand side.
We can use that.
And we have a new pictome. Oh look, 25% increased critical chance on burning enemies. See what I mean by crit is a thing? So go ahead, equip this on whoever you like. I guess we'll spread them out because they do come with some base stats on there. And if you look on Gustav, you can see that we have the first gold bar is filled. I think when you get these, you should instantly get them filled up. So every time you pick one of those up, that is a fresh 4 battlers that you should be doing. And I've just come back a little bit because I remember that there's some loot up on this cliff.
This will be useful.
And then we come a little bit further down, and there should be some up on the left. I have to say, one of the best things about doing this way, I don't need to worry about watch percentage anymore, which means I can make longer videos or shorter videos as I see fit. It's down. That's much better damage, right? So I think we are gonna Ice Lance this baddie. Not really knocking it back, which is unfortunate. Perfect. Okay, so we're starting to get the hang of the timing. And what I said about it's kind of as the shoulders shunt forward on that one. The charge one I find a little bit harder to get the grasp of. Another battle succeeds. Then we're going to come up this left side. Bit more loot.
Well,
so far, I've not had anything actually come out of crates. Sometimes they just block the loot, but they never really hide it. Like usually you can see it shining through the crates, so not too much reason to stand there breaking the boxes as far as I can tell so far.
Is that a house?
looks abandoned.
And then we come on inside. Up the ramp.
The indigo tree is not too far from here. If anyone else made it, they'll regroup there.
Yeah.
And then we head on up the rope, as they call it in this. And then...
Here we are, huh?
yeah, we head to the right-hand side.
The continent. The indigo tree's over there.
The loot. Energy tint shard. Which, as you can see, we now have 2 blue potions when we rest. And this piece of loot here, just in case you saw that as you were down there. Nothing in the corner. I'm just breaking boxes for no reason. And then we can head on back up. where we have our next checkpoint. I'll go ahead and rest. As you can see, fast travel is already unlocked to the previous one, so if for whatever reason you want to go back there, you can. And the best thing is, from this point, there isn't really anything that's completely missable, so we don't really need to worry too much as it stands. Continuing on then, we want to go to the left first. So we came down the ramp from the cave up at the top, which we can see there. And if you're facing towards the flag, that is the path of progression over there. And we want to head to the left. Is there loot over here? Yes, there is a bit of chroma.
Well, that will help.
I'm going to have tons of that. And really, it's one of those things that's not even sticking out of my mind right now. I'm going to go ahead. We're going to aggro this boy out. It's building up.
Ice.
That's that one done. And then we continue going forward so that we reach the Mr. Mime over here.
Advantage.
Just one long path. We'll go ahead. Oh. Make sure we get the first strike on there. It's still going to get to put its wall up, and we still have to do the same thing, so we have to break it first. We're going to start out with...
A storm is coming.
I don't think slowing it's going to do too much, but we will. Oh, it has knocked it back. That's very nice. We should go in with a normal attack. And then you have 1 AP. That's not great. Okay. Again, I should take my own advice in dodging those. Yep, we're able to immolate. Let's do it.
Feel the burn.
Getting the burn on there is going to be big, and you'll see how it takes that damage turn by turn. And you can stack that very, very high. Burn is amazing. Got all but one. Such annoyance. Such annoyance. I got plenty of AP right now, so let's get in on this. And we can immolate again, because the white counts as any color.
Get ready.
Miss. No, got it. Come on, break it. I'm gonna break it now. Overcharge always hits hard.
For those who come after.
I have nothing that consumes fire right now, which is a shame. That's probably something we should get next. Because as you can see, you'll start running into the problem of not being able to get new stains in.
Feel the burn.
Are we broken yet, or what? I guess damage is starting to go down range now. Ouch. I guess that's silence. Yeah, we don't like that. We are going to get an item that allows us to take off status effects with the healing items, but we're going to have to take a bit of time to get that first. There we have it. Mr. Mime is down. Hey, we got a brand new hat. How happy are you? I don't even like that outfit, but we got it. And you can see now we have Lumina Learn. That means everybody can have that. So we, for example, can now go onto Lune. We can come over to our Luminas and we can equip Dodger. So she will now get that +1 AP on a perfect dodge. Even if she doesn't have the stats equipped. So we're obviously just going to run back to the checkpoint now. Where we can go ahead and rest, of course. Now, what I recommend is that you spend a little bit of time just getting used to the parry windows and the dodge windows. And as I said before, whenever we get a new Picto, we should be realistically trying to get it unlocked for the whole party. Now, of course, we have skill points here. Don't be afraid to use them, but both of these are actually very powerful. So, on Gustav here, we're going to take both of those right now. At the start of a boss, we can get 3 turns of doing more damage. So, we should probably use that pretty often. You can get a good opener out of that. And Mark, as I said before, gets consumed. But to start with, I like... In fact, no, I don't even know. I like to have the Earth Rising and the heal. We're going to get Thunderfall next because it's absolutely amazing as well. And then because we have the full cycle of the elements, so as you can see here, that consumes green, that consumes blue, that consumes red, that consumes yellow, that consumes green. So we can now cycle around all of the different colors with those 4 abilities. And then I suggest we come up this way for the healing abilities of Lune, which is generally how I've been using her. There's stat points in there. Now, there is reason to turn Lune into a tank as a healer, because if you look at her healing skills, you'll see that these are a set amount of healing. So that's a 35% heal. That brings you back to life with 37% health. That gives you 46% health plus a regen. So we actually don't need power stats for this. If you are playing like proper hard mode all the way through and you really want to have a tanky healer, then Lune is the best girl for that. So as I said before, I like to practice what I preach. We should reface all of these until we have learnt their movesets properly. So let's get on this. That was just normal dodge, not a perfect. See, that would have been a failed parry. I'm aware we could shoot the ball, but I like to make these last a little bit. Obviously, we could end this now. But like I say, I like to spend time in the combat getting used to the enemy movesets that we're currently facing against, because it just takes a little bit of time to remind yourself what they're all going to be. Now, we're about to face off against a new enemy type, so a little bit more that you need to memorize as well as we're going forward. Go around to the left first. No, am I wrong? This is where the flying one is. Yeah, here we go. I guess I missed what was at the top of that climb there. Alright, so these enemies are either going to be really, really easy or really, really hard. Oh, it didn't give me the... I thought it was going to tell us. You need to parry these. Okay? It's a bit like playing tennis. As you can see, they go down very easily. But a normal attack, I want to show this, often misses, okay? So you got to be careful. You can use your shooting, so if you really don't like them, you can use your AP up on them like that, and that is probably better than trying to use an ability up on them. But generally speaking, just as the hands are about to come down, so to me, it feels like you're playing tennis. It's like they're trying to throw a ball at you and you're throwing it back. That's the best way I can describe trying to throw that back at them. Wow, I'm so sorry I can't talk. Let's go back and do this because I don't remember this climb up here. Oh, it's not a climb. Why did I think that was a climb? It's because it's the colour. Okay. I thought I just hallucinated, like, what is going on there? Alright, up this way. There is a big enemy in the corner on the right hand side. Just going to show you guys. I haven't tried it in an easier difficulty, but in normal, that will one-shot you. And it has 2 to 3 hit combos. So I actually suggest we come back, spoiler alert, when we find an extra character. That is the perfect time to come back here and clear anything that you found too difficult, such as the mime or that.
Blue trees.
Something's disrupting the chroma around here. Be careful.
I always end up triple checking everything as I'm coming through the walkthroughs. We should face off against this enemy on the right hand side. If you are in trouble, there is a checkpoint not too far up that way. But right now, we're going to go ahead and take this on. I'm going to skip through this combat. Then we can clear our way behind it. Should be a little bit of loot. It's nothing too essential. Now, that is probably the best set of enemies to farm if you decide you want to be in better shape for the boss. Now, of course, I highly recommend that you face the actual bosses in their proper difficulty mode, either in normal or expert, depending on your taste, and only use the easier modes when you are practicing parries and if you are happening to farm something, because, you know, why would you take longer to grind out XP or your pictos or anything like this? I don't know why you would do that.
Something's wrong with it. Why isn't it attacking us?
Well, it certainly attacked them. An expedition journal. 81. Learn from the ones who came before.
And lay the trail for the ones who come after.
Expedition 81, Renee.
It's a shame that cancels when you come out the menu.
They communicated with a Nevron.
The dead here don't disappear like in Lumia. Their chroma stays inside their bodies.
On the beach, some did disappear.
He wasn't a Nevron.
Something about the way Nevrons kill seems to affect our chroma.
Perhaps your friend here can enlighten us. It really does speak.
What do you mean, light?
Did you kill these people?
Painted? By the Paintress? If we bring it light, perhaps we can learn more.
I'm not sure that's a good idea.
We are going to bring it light. And if you kill this now, you will miss out on content later. We can do extra content and then come back, defeat them all. They're not essential to defeat. They're also not essential to the game. So it's up to you. It's a little bit like the Little Sisters in Bioshock, where you can kill them all now for like a short-term gain, because you'll get upgrade materials that you can't even use yet. But if we leave until the end of the game, complete their quests, and then we get some extra content later on, we will get more out of keeping them alive for now. With that said, though, we're going to continue further down the road.
Flares!
Survivors!
Hurry!
Sort of. So we're going to have drastically more enemies now.
Advantage.
Oh, look, a new Picto. Let's get that equipped, shall we? It's a Gustav style one, but we might as well get everybody learning it. So now we can inflict burn when we do a free aim shot. 20% chance, not too terrible to do, actually. But as we said before, so we actually have now critical burn that we would be able to equip if we had 5 luminous points. I think we have to wait until a certain point in the game before we can start adding luminous capacity to our characters. This all loops around, so if we come all the way to the right hand side here, we should see we've got some loot over here. Where is it? In the barrel. As I said before, you can kind of see that it's light. Let's get that on as well. Trying to keep it balanced between the two of them so they both get some additional stats. Get them both leveling up. I'm not sure if we can walk off here. It looks like we can. We should. Well, sorry, we shouldn't. So back around we go. Now we have a new enemy type. These are decidedly a little bit tougher. Tank enemies. So again, we kind of want to be learning the parry window of these. They should come over and do like the sword drop usually. You want to learn to parry that. It's actually not too bad. And then we have this one. So they shouldn't realistically pose too much of an issue in my opinion, because they are much easier to judge, generally speaking. We can go ahead and get the new weapon equipped on Lune, because it does a bit more damage. Most importantly, you can see once this gets powered up, we reduce the cost of fire skills, do additional damage, start the battle with ice stain, so quite useful. Where are you? So we come down the ramp, come in for the pink,
Well,
more Lumina. Again, we don't get to use this till later. Not too much later, but later. So yeah, so when I was saying it all loops around, this all loops together right here. So we're going to come on down first. Just feels like a waste to to shoot them until they go down like that. Let's try Earth Rising. Got lucky, got an extra hit. And that's what combat is going to end up looking like.
Nice.
Come on around. Got another group here to break through. Almost forgot to continue recording. Make sure we come over and grab
we could light something with this.
resin. Oh look, talking about light here. So you can see that's the bridge. That's where we've got the resin. We've got to turn off down here.
Nice.
Revive tint shard. We shouldn't really be needing that right now. And continue around. This checkpoint means we are at the boss, so we're actually not going to use that. And instead, we're going to head along the top. And we're going to go back and turn in our mini quests with the jar. Then we can continue collecting all the loot.
This will be useful.
And then we're going to head back to the checkpoint. Lots of areas where looks like we're going to be coming back, right? It's up to you. Depends what state you're in, whether or not you want to rest and go back through the enemies again. I do recommend it, but we're going to turn this in first. Alright, so at this point...
What did it mean by
And now
light?
we have more healing.
Let's keep an
So we'll go ahead and rest. And at this point, what I recommend you do is actually make sure you turn your difficulty up, because I don't see how you can appreciate the bosses if we go in at minimum difficulty. So
eye out for other
we'll make sure that that is in fact changed.
Everyone's like this.
Where are we? Here we go. Like that, thank you.
This one. We might learn something.
Take a look at our skills. So we are now able to learn Thunderfall, which is very powerful. And it's perfect timing for this boss, because those 2 to 6 hits are very good for damage. So I'm going to make my way back to the new checkpoint that we saw, but with it on normal. That way we get some extra practice at some parries and dodges on the way to the boss battle. Alright, once we're walking back up on the flag then, make sure that all of your Pictos are equipped. You should probably make sure they're all fully learned. It might be a bit difficult to have them cross-equipped, because we've got Dodger there already. Let's see if we can get any more on. So we go. Might as well have Burning Shots on there. And then, as with here, we get Dead Energy. It's not really going to help because we're not going to be killing enemies in there. But there we have it. So that's just going to help us out in terms of making sure that we are as prepared as we can be for boss battle. In addition, I recommend that you have healed, because it's very easy to get dragged into the boss battle before you interact with the checkpoint flag here. Go ahead, take your rest. Spend any attribute points you've gained along the way. As I said before, at this point, I highly recommend that you have Thunderfall. It's a very strong ability, and we definitely want her to be able to use that. And there's not really anything else that we need Gustav to have, because Powerful and Marking Shot are both very fine for this stage. cue awesome boss music. Now, we can see it's got shields up at the top. That's how many times we've got to hit it before we can actually do damage. And it can restore those shields, so we've got to be careful. And we also can't pop the chest. Oh, maybe we can. I didn't think we could. But one of the best moves that we have to get rid of it is the Lumiere Assault. So let's go ahead and use that. And we know the Thunderfall consumes fire. So we want to generate some fire so the Thunderfall can do more damage. You could slow it down with the Ice Lance, but I like getting the damage on there. You should have already parried the ground attack, but it does do a few of them at once, so just be careful. To get all three, bonus damage is inflicted. Alright, Gustav is going to want to have some charge left for next turn if we want overcharge to do well. So in a position like this, we know that overcharge is coming in two rounds, and we are going to go ahead and we're going to mark it. That's going to mean the next attack that we do is going to do 50% more damage, okay?
Take him down.
Now, it is the next attack that hits. So if I attack with Lune right now, we're going to have problems. But we know that Gustav over there, he doesn't have enough AP right now. So we can go ahead and we can put an energy tint on him. Gotta hope he doesn't put any more shields on because we are stacking here. Next thing that we can do is we can add powerful to make it so that we do even more damage.
Let me help.
A storm is coming.
And we are again going to make sure that Gustav has got ample energy for his next move.
Get ready.
Ready to evade. Take cover! Ready to evade.
Man, my parries are going very badly. Miss. Alright, it's out of some damage now. So we're going to have Gustav here do overcharge.
For those who come up,
To give the real damage.
Building up Roma.
Man, it's added like all the shields in the world. Of course, at this point, we'd better put a healing tint on Lune. And then we're going to have Gustav use the assault. And because Lune has so much ability points, we can now use Thunderfall to get rid of all of those shields. Just as planned.
Paintress must fall.
We'll call that a victory.
Celebrate later. There'll be others. We should be safe up in the tree.
Yeah. Putain, nobody.
Wait, there's a message on the wall. Took mile to the weird corals. Head north, look for a door inside a hut.
Claire,
This doesn't make sense. Who would have written this? It sounds like an expeditioner, but everyone knows to sign their messages.
Yeah, but they might have been in a hurry.
I don't know. Doesn't sound like anyone on the team. What if it's a trap? The man on the beach?
It's a lead. Our only lead. Whoever this is knows Mael. We have to go.
No. Not yet. Protocol is to regroup at the rally point and wait 3 days. This message feels off. If it was an expeditioner, they would have stayed here. Everyone knows the protocol.
Right, but they may have been in danger. Maybe this location has been compromised. Things change in the field.
There's a reason.
Protocol doesn't cover every contingency. You know that.
There's a reason it's protocol. We designed it to yield the optimal result in the vast majority of situations.
Was our entire team dying part of that optimal result? Look, I'm going after Maya. Protocol also states, never move solo. I'll let you choose which protocol to break.
He is a naughty boy. Before we go continuing off out of here, let's turn around. We want to go this way. Left first, I think it is. We get loot on the branch.
Nice.
And we get the rope down. Follow the path along. Get the pink loot.
Well, that will help.
Just in case you were wondering, this is, in fact, the loot you could see from the boss room. So that should clear all of that up. Which means the only thing that's left here is the enemy that I want to come back for once we have the additional party member to make that a more reasonable fight. You probably could do it on easy mode, but as I said before, I don't think you should do bosses on easy. Doing standard enemies so that you can get around, explore properly, and things like this I think is completely fair game. But the bosses themselves, I think you want to experience those proper. With that done, though, that finishes this episode. The next one, we're going to do some open worldy stuff. Might make that a short episode so that we can have it be this little open area. If we press up on the map, you can see we've got this small area. There's a few little bits we can visit, and then we'll be going to Flying Waters for its own episode as well. So I'll catch you guys next time for that.